Chapter 3: How to use expert interview correctly. Using the expert interview tool for enhancing the business possibilities effectively. The individual must be aware that reaching the customer at different varying levels is the goal. How to use it. Filling the customer funnel, path or interest basically consists of three major parts, which are pre-purchase, purchase and post-purchase. Thus, choosing the expert interview tool would effectively be able to address all three aspects adequately. The effectiveness of any marketing campaign is to stay away from any tool that claims to cater to and suit everyone's needs in one package. However, expert interview can actually make this claim without any adverse repercussions. The sincerity and integrity of the style and content can be designed to suit or cater to any section of different target audiences effectively and quickly. The perceived transparency and authenticity of the expert interview tool further contributes to the effectiveness of reaching the target audience and perhaps maybe even those who are not directly interested or connected to the content, product, or service. The expert interview tool can be effectively used when information exchanged has the opportunity to be challenged and the possible rebuttals are immediately available for anyone to view. This is also effective in creating an instant platform for all queries to be adequately addressed and answered. The expert interview platform can also be effectively used to disseminate as much information as possible without actually having to spend too much time on technicalities, thus providing the viewer with easily understood material. The probing style of this tool also effectively creates a certain level of discernment when the viewer is considering a purchase of the product, service, or even when the viewer is considering making a recommendation. Another reason the expert interview style has proven effective is because of its simplicity element. The directness of getting and giving information is clearly defined in the style of delivery chosen. Viewers can then instantly conclude or form an opinion of the content and then decide the next course of action on their part. Chapter 4: Making money with expert interview. There are several reasons for expert interview to be successfully used as a money-making tool. Some of which are fairly common while others may have some newer connotations attached to it. Bringing in the cash. The expert interview tool is primarily a tool that is used to address a target audience. This target audience can then be turned into a money-making possibility. This is because of the advertisements that can be tagged to the interview session to bring in added revenue. There are interested parties who specifically look for expert interview platforms that have a very good following of target audiences and then proceed to offer remuneration of ads posted within the interview frame or even as promotional or budget incentives. There is also the possibility of being able to make money through the ability to attract sponsors. Giving away some things for free when a purchase has been confirmed is also another way of earning money through these expert interview platforms. When the customer is already keen on making a purchase based on the information given, the added feature of giveaways will only serve to delight the customers and creating the possibility of consequent visit or even referrals. Another way of garnering possible revenue is to use teasers or only show partial expert interview for free and then charge a small fee to view the rest. However, the teaser or partial content available for viewing must be attractive enough to encourage the viewer to want to complete the viewing even if it is at a cost. Building media network based on expert interview and then selling advertising space is also another way to gain revenue. This can be quite lucrative, especially if the site has a consistently huge target audience. Therefore, with some research done into what can be interesting for viewers, the general content can be designed and produced to ensure definite interest from viewers. Chapter 5: Writing a book with expert interview. Among the simplest formulas for how to compose a book is to question experts in your niche or industry and produce the book. And as simple as this is to do right, it's simple to mess up too. So let me demonstrate how to produce an interview book in a way that it really drives individuals back to you and your business. Authoring: simply record interviews with experts or industry leadership and turn those interviews into chapters of your book. I've witnessed interview books work well and I've seen them read like last year's news. So prior to you grabbing your voice recorder and running off to talk to individuals, let me help you prevent making huge errors. Huge error number 1: no goal other than to slap a book together. Don't simply decide that you ought to compose a book and a series of conversations. You have to produce something of value that individuals wish to read, or there's no point composing the book. So determine a particular result for the reader. What's in it for them? Huge error number 2: lack of clearness for how the book benefits both you and your subscriber. If you don't know precisely where you're taking the reader with these interviews and how the book will locate you as the go-to authority, you'll compose a namby-pamby book that does little if anything for you as an authority and business owner and simply less for the reader. Huge error number 3: hapless choice of experts. You can't simply interview somebody merely as they do the correct thing or bear the correct sort of business. If you do, you're likely to have a difficult time assembling a book individuals wish to read. Huge error number 4, failing to design your interviews. You can't simply turn on a voice recorder and have your interviewee begin speaking. You either require a set of questions you ask each authority or a particular set designed to bring out the brilliance of the particular individual you're interviewing. Huge error number 5, no overarching message or topic you wish more than a set of chats put on paper or into ebooks. Every chapter, and thus every interview, has to in some way move forward the book's message. Huge error number 6, putting in nothing to the interviews. I don't know how come, but individuals who compose this sort of book tend to simply turn transcripts into chapters and add nothing at all to them. If you do this, you're not aligning yourself as the authority and not adding to your own report. Now that I've soundly rained on your parade, let me demonstrate how to produce an interview book that really establishes you as an industry leader worth listening to. How to compose the interview book's Measure 1, forge the flow or outline or contents of the book. Choose what you wish each chapter to say based on your designated outcome. Your book isn't at the whim of your interviewees. It's up to you to determine it. Measure 2, pick out the experts that equate to your chapters. When you understand what has to be in your book, contact the best industry leadership who fit this profile. It's crucial to select your experts well. Select them as they've a unique spin, a specialty, a strong story or another element that adds to the advantage of your book. Measure 3, produce your list of questions that you'll ask everyone. This will provide you an overall structure for every interview that will produce a book that makes common sense to the reader. Allow room for 2 or 3 that are particular to each interviewee so you may showcase their brilliance. Measure 4, once you've your list of interviewees, arrange your schedule and get busy. Add 2 to 3 narrowed down questions you'll ask your experts based on what you understand about them particularly. Make sure to make 2 recordings so you have a backup. Measure 5, put together your book. Make transcripts of the interviews. Why not add some of your own personality and expertness to each chapter? You may merely add an introduction and a conclusion with some of your own thoughts. After finishing these steps, you have your interview book. If you've put in your own thoughts, your book demonstrates your expertise instead of only adding to the great name of your interviewees. You may be proud of this book that boosts your business. Chapter 6, what to avoid, as most interesting expert interview sessions are either audio or visual. The quality of the production is quite important. Poorly produced work will not be able to stay competitive and garner the desired target audience. Therefore, avoid substandard work. What to stay away from: equipment used should also be able to successfully create a good piece of quality work. Avoid using computer or webcam microphones when trying to keep costs down in doing an expert interview. Some costs are just not stinging on. If the audio quality is poor, the target audience will not be able to enjoy or focus on the message, thus causing the quick loss of interest. Though having a general script to follow, diligently keeping to the script would not allow the freedom of the parties involved to express what they need to, and thus giving the target audience a rather bland experience. Avoid the insincerity of prepared scripts, because as a marketing tool the customer will definitely not feel comfortable nor be adequately convinced to make a purchase. Avoid length expert interview sessions. Even if the product, service, or material being featured is very interesting, designing a long-drawn session will only end up working adversely towards the promotion of the content. Also, designing the content to consist of too much technical information should be avoided. Most viewers are not really interested in the technical aspects of anything and would rather just know how the item can benefit them. Furthermore, those who require more technical information will be more willing to seek the information needed. Wrapping up: when time and money is a dominating factor in the daily routine of an individual, the element of wasting either is avoided at all costs. Therefore, in order to get and hold the attention of an individual long enough to ensure the general context of the expert interview has been understood, some things needs to be seriously avoided. Hopefully this book has given you some insight into what is needed to use this technique of marketing.